been working on this for really 2 years. It's a revamping of our entire forfeiture laws in the state. You have a state set of laws that deal with forfeiture. You have a federal set of laws that deal with forfeiture. And all we, of course, deal with here is the state part of it. But we hear horror stories about people who get caught up because not of their doing, but perhaps their vehicle or their house or something is being used by a person doing criminal enterprise, and all of a sudden the state, through the law enforcement, is trying to take their property. And there is, as mentioned, is not a due process really set up to address this. And the current laws have got a bunch of I gotchas in there that are used to trick people. And once you trip, you're lost. You're out of your property. And I had a hearing yesterday in my Judiciary Committee, a subcommittee. I started out by pulling out the state constitution. The first line of our state constitution says, the purpose of government is the protection of life, liberty, and property. And that is what rings with me and so many legislators down here, because we see things happening where people's property is being taken under the use of government force without having the ability to answer to the due process side of it. Now, yes, it's drawn opposition. The only opposition, though, that's coming to my attention is from law enforcement and the prosecuting attorneys, because they are the ones who profit from what happens with forfeitures. And we're not trying to stop them from taking anything that's an asset of a person who's done criminal conduct and acquired assets with their wrongfully acquired money. But we want to be sure that people like you and me have an opportunity, if we're somehow brought into a situation where there is an attempt to take property that belongs to us, we have the means to address that. As I tell people, the three things we're trying to do in this bill is be sure there is due process. We have court oversight. There's also going to be accountability, meaning that when they do acquire property for forfeiture, they have a need to answer in how they use this money, and be sure it's brought in and used properly for acquiring either new materials, vehicles, whatever it may be, for their own service as law enforcement personnel, and transparency. And the transparency is they've got to file this with a public agency where you and I can look on the website and see what came in and how it was used. So it's a very simple process, but it's a very important process. 159 sheriffs have come out in this state against this program. And the only reason is their own self-interest. It's not a matter of what needs to be done as far as protection of the public, it's their own self-interest.